Where is the Discord? Hello? Don, you Discord, I am not going to sign in right now.
Yeah.
One moment as we share this to the cord of discs. There we go. Hello there, and welcome to Star Wars Uplink. Today we are diving deep into, first, our spoiler-free reactions to Ahsoka, and then, after we do that, we're going to just dive right in and talk about all of the spoilers. But, first, what do you think of that episode?
That was good. That was a good one. Yeah. Characters are building out quite nicely.
Yeah.
Quite nicely.
Everything's falling into place here quite well, actually. Buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Hello? There we go. We're back. Yeah, I think we're getting a good amount of character growth with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing everything that was laid up into the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, come to fruition, which I think is just really satisfying.
Mm-hmm. They've definitely still set it up so that this last episode's going to be...
Oh my gosh.
A lot or not enough.
There are still so many questions.
Yeah.
And we only have one more episode to go.
I can't believe it.
This is why I don't like 8-episode seasons. 8-episode seasons are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you start to get in the flow of things and you feel like everything's really great, the season ends and you have to wait to see if there will even be one.
Yeah. Yeah,
after.
Man. No, there's a lot. There's a lot here going on. Oof. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to finish this. It's going to be a huge cliffhanger because are they even going to get home? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. In the episode that we recorded, in the episode that we released today, I should say, of the podcast, we were theorizing around what would happen next, Baylan Skoll and his journey in the Star Wars galaxy right now. And something that we had talked about is how nothing is sure about this season except for the fact that we are going to have one of the biggest, probably the biggest cliffhanger that we've had of any Star Wars TV show on Disney+.
Yeah. I mean, no wonder Rosario Dawson's like, we're having a second season, right?
Yeah, uh-huh. I can't wait to have a second season. It's going to be great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because there needs to be one. Oh my golly goodness, does there need to be a second season or something along those lines? Because my goodness, there is so many things. There's so many things that we need answers to and continuation of. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point Disney's like, oh yeah, you know how we said there were 8 episodes? Well, actually, they're going to be 26 episodes.
Right.
I think that, too, is Dave Filoni's animated background, having 26 episodes a season to work with, and now going all the way down to 8 is like, what is happening here?
Yeah. Well, and we've been kind of saying that this feels like prep for his movie
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's making.
This is definitely practice for his movie.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, this last episode's going to be real interesting just to see how he tidies it up, I guess, or not.
I don't think you can tidy it up. Unless the last episode's like an hour and a half. I don't see how you can go all the way from where we are in episode 7 to where it would need to be to wrap all of the threads together.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way.
There's just no way.
No.
Overall, though, what are your thoughts on the season so far? Spoiler free, what would you rate this episode against all of the others?
How it has its highs and it has its lows. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the strongest episode, but it has really good moments. So it's by far not the worst for sure.
Yeah, I'd say like episode 5 is probably my favorite. Then it's episode 6. And then it would be maybe this episode going backwards.
Yeah. It's strange because, again, we're seeing these like slow moments while also having a lot of action and like that classic Clone Wars humor.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting mix, and I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge it. Like at first you're like, man, that was kind of a slow episode, but then you think, no, wait, there was a bunch of like fighting scenes and stuff like that. It's like, what?
I think what we're picking up on is what was set up last episode is still there. Like they didn't necessarily move anything from the last episode forward all that much.
True.
So we kind of stepped one step forward. We didn't step 2 steps or 3 steps forward like we kind of thought we would. It was just another step into the direction that we know that they're going to go in.
Again, this is going to be a great show to binge.
Dude,
like,
I cannot wait to rewatch this show.
It's going to be so good. You just skip the intros, you go straight into it, and then you go straight to the next one. Like, it's going to be way too easy. It's going to be dangerous how easy it is going to be to binge this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just going through and grabbing screenshots for thumbnails and everything for like our YouTube channel, I'm going through and I'm scrubbing it through these key moments. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Yeah. Oh man. And to know like where they get to, at least at this season, it's just gonna be that much sweeter. Yeah.
Mr. Handtech says 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's a solid show.
It is a
like
solid
I
show.
am really enjoying this. I still think like Andor is my favorite of the Disney Plus shows, but followed very closely to that is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
That's before the finale even kicks off.
I would agree though. It's good. It is a good show.
Oh my gosh, it's so Star Wars. It's so like everything that you want a Star Wars show to be, like this show has. It carries along a lot of the moments from Rebels and ties in some of that history that he has with Clone Wars. And then just brings it into the future, like brings it forward, sets up all of these pieces, sets up the characters that we want to see more of, and just continues bringing us that sweet, sweet Star Wars goodness.
It's so good. It's nostalgic enough and new enough that it's like beautiful.
Yeah, Mr. Henseg says, at least we know Sabine is Force sensitive. Yes.
Yeah, you owe me a coffee.
I guess.
Yeah, you do.
I still need to see her move something with her brain.
Oh my god, that's the criteria.
That's the criteria. Everyone's a little bit Force sensitive. Because everyone has the Force, but some people have the Force more than others and can channel it more than others. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm just saying, to be truly Force sensitive, I need some like brain movements.
Oh my gosh. Are we ready for spoilers yet?
Let's kick off the spoilers.
Please.
We've had more than enough time to talk spoiler free and allude to things. Now we're kicking off the spoilers, talking about all the juicy bits. And first off, on the notes of Force sensitivity, I love that Ezra was like, I don't need a lightsaber. I've been using the Force this whole time. I gave the lightsaber to you. Keep it. Like that. No. I don't need that.
Good. That's so good. And that's so like not the Ezra we know, but it's such a good development. Like I'm here for it. Because Sabine's so much the sword, and then Ezra can now be the Force, and it's like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful little pairing.
It's so great. Like I really love that little note there. And it really ties itself back to the like roots of the Force. Because if you look at Palpatine historically thought that lightsabers were I don't know, like bastardization of what the Force was meant to be.
Interesting.
Like people, he thought the Jedi and the Sith relied too much on lightsabers when they should be relying on the Force entirely. And he only had a lightsaber in hiding. Like he never really used it. He utilized the Force more than anything.
Yeah.
Even though he was quite skilled with the lightsaber.
It's also a really nice callback to Kanan.
Yes.
And how much Kanan depended on that, especially when he lost his sight. It's just really nice to see that growth in Ezra. It's just like, oh yeah.
Yes. It's so great.
So good.
What are your thoughts on Thrawn in this episode?
Okay, thank goodness. We are building up my boy Thrawn.
Yes.
He's actually getting good now.
He's not just a guy.
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool at the beginning. But now we're like, okay. He's got this figured out. He knows people. Oh my gosh, when he's like, wait, her master was Anakin Skywalker?
Yes.
I was like, ah!
Also, his voice.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'll take the dad bod. Just give me that voice, man.
Yeah. So good. And like Thrawn as a character, obviously if you know Thrawn as a character, him showing up, you'd like know all of the background, but until this episode you didn't see it. Like you didn't see the strategy, the genius that he has, just the fact that he utilized the short amount of time that he had to lay down a minefield. Great move right there.
Yeah.
And his whole goal was not to defeat Sabine, Ezra, or Ahsoka. It was to delay them, which he successfully did by putting all these little pieces. And I love that note where it looks like a chessboard. Like it's true like strategy at its most basic.
Yep. So good. I like that he has different levels of success where it's like, yeah, they all die and they just never have to come back into my life. Perfect.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we could just foil them and all we have to really do is leave them.
Yeah. And his whole thing about like pulling his losses, like pulling the troops back to give him a minimal loss. Because his plan relied on Balin also being there. And it was like, well, I guess we can't defeat them, but we can at least delay them. And we're almost done with our transfer. So we're basically ready to go and get back into the swing of things. Balin, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. No, you start this one.
Balin is awesome.
Because he's your man.
Yes. Balin. B-A-E.
Balin. Oh no.
I love Balin because of how interesting of a character he is. He is so skilled with a lightsaber without having to utilize the dark side. He straight up says, Ahsoka, you cannot defeat me. Like, I love when they're fighting and he just like randomly his like fist is like right here. He's like, nope, I know every move that you're going to make and I have prepared for it. I have a goal that I'm going to reach no matter what. And I love to, once he realizes that Ahsoka is there and what is going to happen with Shin, there's a pause there. There's this calculation that he goes through of like, okay, well, I could go back and help them, possibly when, or I can continue on. I believe that I've given Shin all of the details that she needs in her training to be successful, and it is up to her whether or not she is successful in whatever terms that she deems that.
Yes, and it's clear that he understands her well enough to know that she will never want to follow in his footsteps, or she can't see what he sees, and she's been up with him up to this point, and if she's still not following him at this point, he's like, all right, it's time to cut my losses.
You have your path, I have my path. I love the note too. Impatience with victory will ensure defeat. Oh yeah. I feel like Thrawn and Balin are very much cut from a similar cloth. Where you have Thrawn being way more analytical, you have Balin more feeling. Like, he understands people, where Thrawn does not.
I would disagree.
Thrawn understands
I think they're just
their
coming
actions, but he doesn't understand people.
like the reasoning why.
Yeah.
I think
He just knows what they're going to do.
I think it's different too because Baylan comes from a Force side of things, so there is a lot more of that emotional, spiritual sort of mysticism around it. And even when they first got to the planet, they were like, he was saying like, well, this is the place where the stories were and the myths and all this. Like that would be something that Thrawn would utilize to understand a place, but he wouldn't like go chasing after it for his own agenda sort of thing. Yeah, Thrawn is a much more studied mathematical mind, very much like give me the facts, but also art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very similar, but also coming from very different places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see and also somewhat of a disappointment in Thrawn around Baylan not being there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're down one mercenary. Because I don't think he fully realizes that Baylan is more than a mercenary yet.
Yeah.
I think he did once he found out that Baylan wasn't there, that he's like,
he's like,
okay, there's something else going on here. Then meets the eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back on Baylan again. So I thought it was really interesting that they gave Baylan this moment of just watching his face play out, like these different emotions.
Yes.
I really feel like that was him saying goodbye to his Padawan, and yet like coming to terms with the things that he has to do. What that is, we still don't know.
Yep.
Will that be answered in the last episode? Maybe not. I don't know.
Dude, this just really solidifies the loss that we had with Ray Stevenson as an actor. Because goodness gracious, did he play his heart out for this role.
Yeah.
Like, he is honestly one of, if not the best acted character that we've seen in Star Wars, and definitely the most diverse and deep character that we've seen a Sith be on screen.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'd say you could argue that Palpatine is more interesting off screen, like especially in the books, once you get more of the understanding of why Palpatine's doing something. But we've never seen Palpatine in as much depth as we're seeing Baylan, and with so little understanding. Like we can theorize on what Baylan is doing, but we still don't know what it is.
There's something so vulnerable about Baylan. We don't know what it is at all.
Yeah.
But the actor just brings this vulnerability and this like it's almost a goodness to this character that what
He has such a respect.
Yeah, he's got such
like he's got honor and morals almost.
He's got this
It's
standard
weird.
that you're like, I can't help but like you, even though I think I'm supposed to not like you, but I really like you and I hope you succeed in life. Like
I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Yep. Yeah.
It's so strange how that works out.
And right now he's not like directly against Ahsoka and their crew. Like he even just like didn't go in and attack them. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Which was mostly, I think the reason that he stayed in that position for so long was to basically give his Padawan time. That's similar to what Thrawn was looking for, was extra time. He wanted to delay Ahsoka to allow Shin the best opportunity.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do
you think Shin's running back to him?
I don't think so. I think she's trying to figure out what the heck she's doing with her life.
Yeah. I bet you she's just going to keep coming after him.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Hen, for the donation. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Khalil Warrington, we know everyone's plan except for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's so true. Because, like, Baylan he's the, I don't know, like red herring almost.
Yeah.
He's the wild card. He's like the draw 4 in Uno.
I get the feeling he's going to be the one to just mess up everyone's plans. Like
Yes.
he's going to unlock whatever thing he's feeling
Could
on
you
this
imagine
planet.
if they all get stuck on this planet?
I can imagine it.
Like, and I
absolutely.
think what they could very much do is like Balin's efforts, whatever he unlocks, whatever he finds on this planet, he causes something to happen.
Probably some kind of destruction of the big hyperspace ring thingamajigs, and then they have to rebuild that, and then they're delayed that much longer. That's my guess, but how that happens, I have
Something's
no idea.
gotta happen here. Like there's this building tension around what Balin is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I made a video on this on the YouTube channel, but we both did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was our last week's episode. We did our breakdown on Thursday, and we basically said that at this point, Balin's more interesting than Thrawn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd say that.
Khalil asks, did he leave Shin for good?
I get the feeling that he did.
I think so. I think that one moment where, like you're saying, like we just see a wave of different emotions pass through his face. I think that was him consoling himself of like, yep, this is goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens after this, she's on her own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my own. We're on these different paths.
Yeah. And maybe he knows he's going to die. You know, like you're also getting that sense that he's like building up to some great thing
he definitely
to do.
he has like this reverence to him. Let's see, Mr. Hantak says, it's like Balin is carrying so much. I've seen the look before in Star Wars. Shin is so conflicted. Yeah. Balin definitely knows exactly what's going on and how his role and her role plays a part in it. And he's not willing to give that information because I feel like if Shin knew where he was headed, she would try to stop him or join him.
It would just mess with the fates. Like it would not help his cause if she knew. Like, there'd be problems. There'd be problems if she knew.
Yeah. It's like,
but if she knew on her own, like if she could feel what he felt and like, then he would have been like, okay, we'll do it together sort of thing.
Yeah, but because she's not able to feel what's happening on that planet, that's what's really stopping him.
Their relationship any further. He's like, nope, you want that? I want this. It's time to go.
It's so fascinating. I wonder, too, what Ezra is going to play a part in this. Like, what piece? Is he literally just there as the prize? Like, to get to this planet?
Hope not.
And then, like, that's where he goes, and his story hasn't yet begun again? Like, is that what we're getting to with this?
Right.
Or are we going to see Ezra take a bigger role in this story?
I don't know. It's a really strange thing to throw him in at the last 3 episodes.
It is.
Because he's been like
he was
the main character.
The main character Rebels. 4 seasons.
Oh gosh. So like what are we doing with him now? Like now it's the Ahsoka and Sabine show.
Yeah. Where is his place in things? He's also like, this is what's so great about Ezra. Like, he's still so positive, even after living 9 years on this planet, running from Thrawn and trying to find some solace.
I guess.
I don't know.
That's what he's doing. We still don't really know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It just seems to be like he's surviving.
He's actually Merrick.
Whoa. Yeah.
I made this joke that Enoch is actually Ezra, and Ezra is Merrick. Or actually,
oh my
Ezra is actually Starkiller that we see. Because of all the theories that were going on. I played a part in those theories. I thought Merrick was going to be someone that we knew. We also didn't get confirmation on whether or not the stormtroopers are zombies.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of theories going on around the troopers being zombies, and that's why they had like the red ribbons and that kind of thing. The theory was that because of the massive loss and the struggles that they've had in that 9 year, whether it's mutiny or whatever, was that basically Enoch was the only living trooper, and all of the rest of them were reanimated dead by the Night Sisters.
I could support that.
Right? Like, I think it's a pretty cool idea.
My question is, how did Thrawn get in the good books with these ladies?
I think he's just super smart, and they realized that the only way to get off this planet was through him.
I would love more
Or
of the Night Sisters.
literally,
Please.
their names are the Fates.
Literally.
Yes,
That's it.
literally. Like they each the three fates in fates in Greek mythology. Their names are all three of them.
I don't know if I like that.
So on the nose.
It's clear. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's what they are. But did you have to go so far as to
Yeah.
name them
Uh-huh.
that? Like, come on.
Khalil says, I think Thrawn is afraid, at least to an extent, of Ezra.
Oh, sure. I mean,
I think
Yeah.
there's definitely concern there because Ezra is a wild card. Like
Mhm.
Ezra cannot be so easily predicted as most people are by Thrawn.
Mhm.
One, because he has so little experience with him.
Mhm.
Like there's obviously the whole of season 4 of Rebels where
Yeah.
they do get a lot of that back and forth, and Thrawn is there because of Ezra.
Mhm.
I think that Ezra's actions are so different from what Thrawn's analytical mind is that's why we're seeing, like you said, like you're picking up on a little bit of a fear or concern around. He straight up was like, yeah, we stopped looking for Ezra.
He's not bothering us. I'm not gonna bother him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna kick that hornet's nest.
Mhm.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Thrawn was like, oh, yeah, here you go. Here's the last known location. Keep him busy.
Yeah.
That would be great
Yeah.
because he's just been a thorn in our backside this whole time.
Mhm. Checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out. Good old Ezra. Man,
Mm-hmm.
what a guy.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the most interesting part is seeing where Ezra takes things. Where is Ezra going to be a part of this?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like both Thrawn and Ezra have played a very small part up until now.
Mm-hmm.
And the big key players are Baylan, are Sabine, are Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the main focus of the show. Like I said, I was theorizing before the show came out that we wouldn't see Thrawn until the very last episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the finale.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That obviously, thankfully,
Yeah.
didn't happen because I think seeing more of Thrawn is so good.
Also, I feel like we needed to see Thrawn and to experience him,
Mhm.
especially as
Also
A
to
lot
show
of
why
people-
he's so important.
yeah, and to show people that no, he is a big threat. That this is a dangerous person to have in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still needed to prove that because not everyone knows. Not many people know who Thrawn is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thrawn is
Let's be
literally a
real.
character that was created in a novel.
Mhm.
He was one of the main motivators in the Heir to the Empire series, and which was basically the sequel trilogy before the sequel trilogy. That's where he was created, and then he was expanded upon. He was brought back into canon, and Timothy Zahn wrote one trilogy of books and a second trilogy of books to really explore further the character of Thrawn, and then he was introduced into Rebels.
Mhm.
And that was his first introduction to a wider audience.
Yep.
And now more people than have ever known about Thrawn know about Thrawn.
I'm happy about this.
It's
People
great.
need to know who this man was.
Hopefully we see more Thrawn cosplays.
Yeah.
Khalil says this is all heading toward the Mandoverse endgame movie, all these characters in the current timeline.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love too the callback of like the Mando War.
Mhm.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Because it clearly sets like, oh no, this is taking a place at around the same time. Things are happening. There is a fight in the New Republic to, one, weed out the Empire sympathizers.
Mhm.
And then the rest are also just trying to like, no, nothing's not normal here, guys. Everything's good. Everything's fine. How are you? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of this, I think this is the first domino to fall in terms of like setting up whatever Mando. I think whatever Mando season 4 ends up being, if it's an actual TV show or if it's what's been rumored of it being a movie, whatever that ends up being, it's going to be the next step. I definitely think we're going to have another season of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I think Mando season 4 is going to be closely tied to whatever characters and story arcs are happening for Ahsoka. Ahsoka is going to be the foundation of whatever the Mandoverse is in the movies. And this is, like we've said, this is Dave Filoni testing out the waters for directing.
Yep. Can we like go back to that moment where they're putting Hera on trial pretty much?
Yeah.
okay, maybe I've been reading too many villain books, but like I was kind of on the side of the one guy who was like, listen, this isn't Rebels time anymore. Like
You're on his side?
a little bit. I mean, I thought he was like yeah. I mean,
How?
Kind of. Listen, I grew up as a goody like all my life, so I'm kind of like, yeah, stick with the rules, lady.
No.
It has some repercussions. Now, I totally understand. Yeah, you can't do this. You can't have just rules, and they're not working. So somebody's got to be breaking them. So I don't know, but I was kind of like, I mean, he's got a point as far as like rulership goes and whatnot. I mean, you can't just be like overthrown by some little green lady going like.
I cannot believe you're agreeing with this dude. What is happening? How?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you see this dude and you're like, yep, he's got something good to say?
'Cause he does.
But it's Sabine.
Huh?
She has proved herself.
You and Hera.
Yeah, Hera.
Mm-hmm.
I always get those two confused. It's Hera. She's proved herself time and time again.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, you don't just go against direct orders, man.
Yes! Throw down the New Republic! Wow! Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
There's
fascinating.
some tea for you.
Wow.
Hey.
I don't have anything else to add.
No words for that. Okay. Maybe when I rewatch, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
He's
no.
wrong. But at that,
We're on Hera's side here. How can you be on the side of that punk?
I mean, he's a punk for sure. But I don't know.
I love how sassy Hera is to him. Like, I didn't disobey the council's orders. I disobeyed your orders. So
Yeah, pretty
good.
But C-3PO coming in there
Mm-hmm.
with Leia.
Yeah, backing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Mhm.
There's a lot that's going to be set up here.
Yeah, man. I'm
Ooh.
curious how much into the politics they're gonna go into it.
Not on this series, but I
no.
would like to see some. I would like to see some more politics in Star Wars. I cannot believe that sentence just came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Well
Wow.
done politics, like Bloodline, Star Wars Bloodline.
Yep.
Very well done
Yep.
viewpoint of
Mhm,
which is
yeah.
taken around. It's close,
It's close-ish. It's a little
close-ish,
later
yeah.
down the line.
a little bit further in the
Mhm.
timeline, but yeah, similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think with that, thank you all so much for joining us on this deep dive every Tuesday at around 8:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We hop on and talk about all things in the Ahsoka episode. Khalil and Mr. Hantek, thank you so much. Oh, last question before I go to sleep. What do you think? What questions do you think will be left unanswered?
Other than all of them?
Dude, I think all of the questions that we have will not be answered by the end of this series.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think this season's going to give us the answers that we want in terms of like what Balin's up to. I think we might get an answer to what Balin's up to, or at least kind of like a bigger idea on what he's up to, but I don't think we're going to see many of the questions that we have answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if any of them are going to get answered.
Mm-hmm. At least what we're seeing right here, we only have one episode left. I don't know if they can do. I don't think it's feasibly possible to answer all of our questions.
If I was to predict anything, I think everyone's going to just get stuck on this planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they're all going to have to figure out from square one how to
Yeah.
get back.
See, big cliffhanger's going to
Mhm.
happen here. Big cliffhanger.
Big shakeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you, Mr. Hantek, as well as Khalil, for joining us on this live stream. We really appreciate the back and forth, good questions, and the good discussions. We'll see you all next week for what's definitely going to be a big one. Check out our podcast. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And as always, may the Force be with you. Have a good one.